Okay, so thank you guys for tuning in. I know a lot of you want to learn how to maximize when it comes to pre-sales and how you can gain financially and create wealth when it comes to buying real estate. And today's seminar is based on pre-sales, but we also do resales as well. So today, this specific seminar is just to educate you on pre-sales. So introduction on speakers. So my name is Ravi Bindi, and I have been a realtor for last 18 years. And I've also been an investor for last 25 years. I bought my first property in 1997 in Central City and just rented it out. And since then, my interest has been there for real estate, and that's intrigued me into the real estate career, right? I'm also a licensed property manager too. So whenever people buy properties from us, we can actually help them by finding them tenants. We have a tenant placement program. If you don't want us to manage the tenant monthly and you can do that too. Or we can manage the whole thing for you, right? What we have found recently is we're helping clients structure deals because we're having now a lot of clients who follow us want to buy multiple properties. And how do you structure things in terms of taxes? How do you get multiple properties? How do you qualify for them? So these are the things we teach because we're doing it ourselves. Now, this is what we do, how to obtain multiple mortgages. And today we have a speaker who will talk more about that, right? Tax saving strategies, like how can you buy multiple properties? How can you take equity out? How do you use interest to write off on taxes and actually save money in taxes in a legit way and gain, right? So we show you how to do this. And now we're doing a lot of webinars, as you can see, and we believe in educating and guiding our clients. So with that philosophy in mind, we're going to be doing a lot of webinars and workshops to educate you as we go along. All right. The other speaker we have, her name is Raman, and Raman Dhillon. She's a RBC mobile mortgage specialist. She has 16 years of finance and mortgage experience. She has been investing for the last 4 years and has bought multiple properties. And she does the same thing, helps clients structure deals, obtain multiple mortgages, helps equity takeout. And she can help you refinance, or if you want to switch from your financial institute to RBC, she can help you do that as well. And she has quite a bit of knowledge of different mortgage products. And this is the best thing I like about Raman, where she will talk to you, understand your needs, and then look at what RBC has in terms of different mortgage products and offer you that right mortgage product. And the reason we clicked is because she has the same philosophy. Her and her team have the same philosophy of educating and guiding. And those are the kind of professionals I want to work with, right? So Raman is here in the room with me today, and she will talk about mortgages when it comes to that segment. All right. So we have more people joining here. That's awesome. Okay, so here's a question for you. The next 10 years are going to bring us a lot of things. The next 10 years, people are going to create a lot of wealth through real estate. Yes, right now we're going through a recession. Yes, right now mortgage rates are up. But if you look at the economic cycle, after the recession comes the growth period. And if you look at what the growth period brings, it brings lower rates. The challenge we have this time in this recession is that inflation numbers are way too high. And to tackle inflation, what Bank of Canada does is raise interest rates. And what that does is it unfortunately creates unemployment and downturn in the economy. People start spending less, and that's what they want. And they want the supply to catch up. So there's not too much demand. Now, this time around, it's a bit different because there's few situations we have. Number one, inflation. And number two, shortage of skilled workers. And what is happening right now is we're going to have a rough 2023, and there's going to be a lot of deals to be made. And this is what I want to ask you. What are your 10-year plan? What is your 10-year plan, right? And I want to share a sheet with you, which I made. And I want to share, give me 1 second. Just going to share the sheet with you so you can see my plan for next 10 years, right? Oh, give me 1 sec. No. So here we go. So if you look at this sheet, what I have done is I've pointed out the properties I have currently. And these are the purchase prices of the property. And at the rate of inflation at 2% right here, okay? If you add 2% to this amount every year, this is how much.
Ravi, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. We are not able to view your screen.
Oh,
we can see your calendar, yeah, but not the spreadsheet which you're talking about.
Oh, okay. How about now? Can you see this?
Yes. Now we can.
Okay. So the first column is basically the properties, okay? The second column is the purchase price. And what I have done is I've created a sheet to kind of give you a perspective of next 10 years and how it could look. Because we're not going to be in this high interest rate environment forever. There's a lot of changes coming, which is we still have lack of supply. CMHC did a study where they have recommended that we need to build way more. We have way less workers right now. Baby boomers are retiring, so we need to get inward migration and have these people going through the immigration system, which is really slow, by the way. But things are going to happen, and what will happen is these prices will not stay the way they are. They will start moving up because of low supply and high demand that is about to come. Okay, but for our purposes, what I've done is here I've put down inflation numbers, a number at 2%. These are the properties I have. Every year, if I keep this property and rent it out, every year, if the property raises in value by 2%, this is what the property will be worth in next 10 years, minimum at 2%. I can change this at 3%, and you can see how much equity I'll have in this property. I can change this to 4%, and this auto calculates this sheet, right? So at 2%, this is how much I'll have. And if I keep this and keep it rented, on the other hand, the mortgage is being paid down, and the other way, the equity is being created. So just on the equity side, this is how much I'll gain financially in next 10 years. And this is how much it'll be worth in next 20 years, right? So this is how you want to think. And a lot of people stop. And I have done the same thing where I've said, okay, I may not qualify for the next mortgage, but that's not true. There's ways to structure deals. where you can get multiple mortgages, right? By showing rental income. And my friend here, Raman, will talk about that and how you can do this as well. Currently, like this property I bought in 2004. And currently, these properties are worth this much. The equity I have in these properties are this much. And this is the total equity of all these properties. And my goal is, as you can see, there's another few properties, 5 properties that are not there yet. My goal is to fill these up too. And this is what I want to teach you guys, to think this way. Think long-term. Don't think about just one investment or 2 investments. Think about a bigger picture, right? Because in 10 years, what if you could sell some of these and start slowing down in terms of work, or your wife may slow down and take care of kids, right? So this is what I wanted to show you, okay? Long-term picture. Going back to the presentation now, and this is just the one vehicle, pre-sales.
Ravi,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I have a question here. So this inflation, let's assume that, okay, it sticks to 2%.
Yeah.
So there's of course, there's an appreciation in the property value. I understand that completely. However, have you incorporated the expenses which you are going to incur? Because I can see only the inflation percentage. Yes, it is there.
Yeah.
What about the maintenance cost, or there will be like X number of expenses, or I'm not sure about what all expenses one person is going to incur. However, I just wanted to understand the mechanics of this entire spreadsheet. So
Yes.
what comes the net picture?
So this is just based on inflation, just based on values increasing every year.
Mhm.
Now, the other picture is, okay, how much did it cost me to maintain this property? You're right. And did the rent cover the cost? Was I breaking even? Was I cash flowing? But this property, which I bought in 2004, rents for way more now, right? Because the cost of rentals is so much, and I'm making money in this property. So that's another topic, because there's more components to this. I just wanted to show you, just based on inflation, how much.
But yes, Ravi, I see, I understand this completely. However, the only the missing part which I'm not able to understand, that is the question here.
Yes.
So that I can ascertain the net profitability of investing into a property. For example, the 90621, the first property which you have marked here, okay, cell number B4, okay, 460. Okay, so in 10 years, let's assume that you have earned maybe 100,000 over that property. However, it doesn't give the accurate picture what exactly you have gained so far.
Yeah.
Because there could be a possibility you cannot have tenants like maybe 12 months in a year. Maybe there is like a couple of months wherein you don't have any tenants. So thus there is
Right.
property tax, there is so much of maintenance which you have to perform. There could be so many other things. Inflation, of course, it is getting high, so that you have incorporated. How about the other expenses which you're going to incur in order to ascertain the actual profitability out of this property?
100%. For the purposes of this webinar, I'm showing you just like a larger picture. But in order to get into details, like I have a cost of how much am I paying on strata fees, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, vacancy rate, and how much am I getting every month. So I have all that spreadsheet as well. But for this purposes, like right now, this property is not worth, after 18 years, this property is not worth 656,000. It's worth 1.5 right now, right? So you're right. You also have to look at how much are you cash flowing? Are you cash flowing positive? Are you breaking even? Are you losing money? And you have to incorporate all of that as well. But a lot of people miss the bigger picture. And that's why I showed this, that, you know what, you can actually, if you do this right, with cash flowing in mind and even breaking even in mind, you can actually gain quite a bit of wealth financially through this vehicle called real estate, right? But
Okay.
I'll offer like a one-on-one buyer consultation at the end, and in one-on-one I talk more about this, and we discuss about your goals, right? So now the topic that we're going to cover today. So now you get the bigger picture, okay? So now what we want to do is we want to cover what is a pre-sale. So a lot of people don't understand pre-sale. So I want to talk a little bit about pre-sale and how does location play a factor, right? Just give me 1 second. There we go. And product mix. What is a product mix? Consists of type of floor plans a project has, and we'll talk about that. Layouts. I'll go over the layouts with you and pros and cons of what kind of layouts you want to stay away from. Pricing. How do you evaluate pricing, right? Amenities is another thing you want to look in a building and what kind of amenities it has. You want to look at the contract and review the contract thoroughly to make sure that it doesn't have a clause that's going to hinder the value or like increase your costs at the end. And we'll talk about that a bit more. Mortgage. So I today have Raman Dhillon from RBC who will talk about mortgage. And I know tons of you have mortgage questions when it comes to pre-sales and what do you do? Like, do you get the mortgage now? Do you wait until completion in 2025? So she'll talk about that a bit more. All right. The next thing is assignments. A lot of people don't understand what an assignment is, right? So we'll talk about that as well. Then some of the major details you should be looking at when you're reviewing a pre-sale, and some of the pre-sale advantages and why you should use this as a vehicle. And what we do is we have a proven system for good pre-sales. Like I just don't sell any pre-sale project. If I know that something's priced well, that's what I want to buy myself and sell to you as well, right? And there's not everything I can buy, but there's some I've bought that I'm completing on one pre-sale on Monday, and then I have another one completing in 2025, right? Now, we'll talk about success strategy meeting where we set things up with you and try to understand your situation, your what kind of job you have, understand your income levels, and then we structure a plan for you with the professionals that I deal with, like a person like Raman, my accountant, the lawyer, and we structure things in a way where it would make sense to start accumulating properties. Okay. And Q&A, like you can post your questions on the chat as we go along, and then at the end we'll answer them. And if you have questions, please jump in, unmute yourself, jump in, ask questions, please. It is meant to be interactive, back and forth, okay? So what is a pre-sale? It's also known as pre-construction. You'll hear different words for it. Now, pre-sale is where the developer starts marketing a building prior to it building up, right? So what they do is they set up a showroom where you can walk through a display model and kind of see how it would feel and feel out the layout. And they give you a brochure, which is also called an A kit, feature sheets, floor plans, and approximate prices, which we'll talk about in a bit. There's a lot of people think that pre-sales can be risky, but the REDMA Act actually gives buyers a layer of protection, right? So let's say if you go into a pre-sale project and you write a contract that day and you change your mind within 7 days, you can actually cancel that contract. You can just say, look, I don't want this, cancel this deal for any reason. You don't have to even give them a reason, but you must do this in writing. So really important, it shouldn't be a phone call, it should be an email, and ask for a receipt that did they receive the email, and tell them to write it back to you that, yes, we received your email and we confirm that this is canceled. Okay. And deposits, a lot of people think, well, if I put the deposit down, what if the builder doesn't build and run away with my money? And they can't do that, because in Canada, deposits are held with the law firm. By law, developers are supposed to pick a solicitor where your deposits will be held, and that solicitor cannot release these funds to the developer until completion. So your deposits are protected. And around deposits also, you must read through the contract, because there's some rules about how deposits will be handled in case the developer fails to complete or you fail to complete. So you have to understand these things and read through it thoroughly. Okay. Location is huge. When you're buying any real estate, and in my 25 years, I've seen Central City from parking lots turn into this beautiful landscape where there's all these high rises coming, and the prices back in days were like $200 per square foot. Right now, Central City is selling for about $1,000 per square foot. So you can imagine changes I've seen, like the Surrey Central Mall. For people who don't know, the SFU tower used to be just parking lot there, and there were not many towers there. And all of a sudden, the towers started coming in, and this plan started happening. So when it comes to location, you must look at what is coming up in future. And the way you find that out is through the city's plans. Okay. Let me just see. And you need to think of what is close by, like in terms of amenities, like what is coming up. Like, for example, Langley City is getting a new SkyTrain. And right in the border of Langley and Cloverdale, there is a hospital coming right behind Kwantlen College. Now, all these new infrastructures actually create quite a bit of demand in that area. And right now we're seeing Langley City go through some changes that Central City went through probably in 2009, 2010, right? So transit is important. Schools and daycares are also important. So you want to make sure that there's good rating schools or there's new schools coming up, right? Shopping also, supermarkets, everything has to be around that area, which Langley does. Parks are important. And you know what? These are some of the things I'm listing out, because in my 18 years, we asked people, what kind of amenities are important to you as a buyer? And these are the top ones that everyone picks, right? And what is coming up in that area? We talk about that. SkyTrain is coming, hospital is coming, and city is densifying that area, right? The city of Langley, for example, is going to come up with plans on putting high rises in Langley City area, which will densify that area. But the cost, as you know, is going up every year, and the cost of building won't be that cheap. And because the SkyTrain is coming, the prices will start rising in these areas. And that's what has happened in past. That's what I've seen in past in my experience. Walk score is also important, right? Oops. The walk score is also important. So make sure you check that. Location. Go. So going to the next slide. Okay, so what is a product mix? Like when you are looking at a pre-sale, you must always look at what is the product mix. Like I'm going to use an example of a project called Pura, okay? And here's the products mix of that project. So it shows you all these different plans, what they are, and how many one bedrooms they have, how many one bedroom and dens they have, two bedroom and dens, And what you have to do is you have to look at demographics and what kind of people are moving into that area. Like, for example, if for example, Sullivan Station is surrounded by detached houses and townhomes, and there's condos coming up in Sullivan Station area, should you be paying about 700 to 800,000 for a 2-bedroom? Because next door there's townhomes that are selling for 800,000. So why would you pay 750,000 for a 2-bedroom that is half the square footage? It wouldn't make sense. So there's a lot of calculations that go on when you're thinking about buying a pre-sale. So this is one of them you want to think of. The other thing you want to think of is how much supply is there of 1-bedrooms? How about 1-bedroom and dens? What are how many junior 2-bedrooms do they have? Junior 2-bedrooms are usually like 2 beds and with 1 bath, right? 1-bedroom and den. Now, also you want to find out what is the size of the 1-bedroom. Is the 1-bedroom like 9 by 10 with a closet? Because you can call that a junior 2-bedroom, right? Or is it like 5 by 4, which is a closet size, and they're calling it a den. So you must always find out the size. 2 bedrooms, what is the square footage, and how big is it, and what's the layout, which we'll talk about as well, right? Now, in terms of layout, this right here is the site plan, okay? This right here is the site plan, and it shows you in the site plan how all these plans are situated. And what you want to do is you want to know what the measurements are of all of these. You want to review the floor plans. So I think we have right here, floor plans. So if you look at these floor plans now, hold on. If you look at these floor plans now, right? This is a 1-bedroom, 1 bath. And here it shows you the square footage of the inside, the square footage of the outside, and total square foot. And whenever you look at developments, they will show you the total square footage as this. You never, in a resale market, we only look at this, the interior of the unit, not this number, okay? So don't calculate price per square foot based on this when you're calculating your numbers. And when you're looking at a layout, you want to look at the functionality of the layout. You want to see, okay, if I walk through this unit, how functional is this? There's no island here. A lot of people like island. This one has a walk-through ensuite, which is nice. People love this, right? I want to find out the measurement of the living room and the dining room, how big it is. I don't like that the kitchen is only 1 wall. I want to find out how many cabinets are going to be there. So these are some of the things I want to find out with this floor plan. The next floor plan. Oh, and here on the site plan, they will show you plan A, 1-bedroom, 1 bath, happens to be located on this side. And here they show you north is facing this way, which means this is west facing unit, right? So, and we'll talk about that a bit more, a little bit later on. So here it shows you the 1-bedroom, 1 bath, again, same floor plan. Here's another 1-bedroom, 1 bath. Let's move to like a 2-bedroom. So I can show you the floor plan, like 1-bedroom and a den right here, right? So I can see that the den is small. It doesn't have a closet, so I can't call it a room. So I know this is going to be quite small, right, already. And there's few things you should look at as well, which we'll talk about when we look at prices. And look at this 1-bedroom and den with 1 bath. This one doesn't have a closet either. Next is here. Same thing, doesn't have a closet. The den doesn't have a closet here, right? Same thing here. Now this is the junior 2-bedroom. And this one happens to have a closet here. So this you can use as a bedroom. Some of the dens in some of the developments are like this. So if they call it a den and it has a closet but doesn't have a window, but we usually in a resale market, we would call this as a bedroom depending on the size, right? And I like this functionality because it has the walk-through bathroom. So this is what you want to look at. So this is where the expertise of me and my team comes in, because we analyze these plans and we say, okay, some of these plans are not good, some of these plans are good. So now going back to the presentation, okay. Sorry. Going back to the presentation. There we go, layout. Yes. Direction of the unit, right? You want to look at the direction of the unit. If it's facing west, you're going to get a lot of evening sun. So you want to make sure if it's facing west, that complex is offering air conditioning as an upgrade, and you should get air conditioning as an upgrade because it does get hot. If it's facing north, you're not going to get that much sun. And when you're buying a north-facing unit, because the natural light is going to be low, you can actually get away with a lighter color scheme. And I would highly recommend pick a lighter color scheme and not a darker color scheme, because it'll make your unit really, really dark, right? And if you're facing east, you're going to get morning sun, and in evening it will be nice and cool, and you get actually nice breeze on the east side as well. And the south side is overall it's sunny throughout the day, and you get quite a bit of sunlight on the south side. This south side, as you can see, like if you were buying this unit, I would say no, because you're kind of blocked in right here in the corner. There's window here, there's a window here, and there's no window here, right? So your kitchen, your den, everything will be too dark in here. So you want something that will get lots of natural light like this, okay? You want to see what's surrounding that building too. Like there was this one building in US where on this east side, they had a power plant. And for some reason, the units were selling for less. And I would stay away from those like eyesores, like and things that are like a stigma, right? Now, when you look at price, when you look at price for any development, they will tell you, okay, the starting price is high 300s, which means 390, okay? And 390 would be for 464 square feet, not for 515. So now you can figure out, okay, if 390,000 is for 464 square feet, and you can do the price per square foot calculation and times that price by 515, you can kind of guess how much the higher square footage would sell for, right? And what you want to do is, remember how I showed you the product mix and the gap between the product mix. You want to look at, like, what is the price between the 1-bedroom and dens and junior 2-bedrooms? Because if I get the cheapest junior 2-bedroom compared to the highest 1-bedroom and den, that's better value, because now I can say that, look, I have actual 2 bedrooms because mine has closet, right? Compared to a 1-bedroom and den. In this project, I would not, unfortunately, get a 1-bedroom and den. And then looking at the prices right here, same thing. I would look at, okay, I don't want a 657 square foot. I don't want a 657 square foot 2-bedroom, 2-bath. I want something larger, right? So I would want to look at how much is this selling for compared to other projects as well. So when you are doing your calculations, you want to look at price per square foot for all the one bedrooms, all the one bedroom and dens, all the junior two bedrooms, two bedroom and dens, and have that study kind of done for all the different projects, and then pick accordingly which project you want to go with, right? Never use the balcony space when you are calculating price per square foot that we've already talked about. I like adding GST to my price per square foot because that's a cost I will incur. Builders don't and developers don't add that in price per square foot, but I want to because that's a cost that I have to incur. And then minus the property transfer tax if you're buying this for personal use, but if you're buying this for investment, then you have to add property transfer tax. Okay, find out, and this is really important that you look at all the price per square foot for current comparables, current units on the market, and that are 1 year old. And what you want to do is you want to compare them with the pre-sales. And the larger the gap between the current price and the pre-sale price, the lower the profit you have, right? We have some pre-sales that are priced really close to today's price. And that's what you want to get, right? You don't want to get something that is priced so high. Kabir, you have a question, sir. You can unmute, Kabir.
So I have a question is, for example, I have $20,000 and I can see a pre-sale where I have to pay right now 5% and book a property.
Mm-hmm.
So do I have to pay anything before ready that property for mortgage or anything, or do I have to get the mortgage right now?
You don't need the mortgage right now, but you should do certain things to make sure you start the mortgage process right now. And Raman will talk about the mortgage part. Now, in terms of deposit, some developers take 5% now, 5% in 3 months, 5% in 6 months, and they want total of at least 15 to 20%. We're finding some developers are taking at least 10%. And there's a program Raman can explain. If you're a first-time buyer, some developers will accept 5% only with an approved mortgage letter. And the reason they need a mortgage letter is because then they can show the financial institutes that's funding them for construction of their building that, look, we have a qualified buyer who's already approved at 5%, and count this sale towards our construction loan, right? Because without that, that your sale would not count towards their construction loan budget, right?
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for asking. So, like I said, gap between the pre-sale and resale, you want to make sure that is the lower the gap, the better it is. And we can show you some projects and show you comps. And this way you're making that educated choice, right? And here's an really important thing to understand. The way developers price their pre-sales is not the way I price a property in a resale market, right? So now, knowing that, I want to look for deals right from get-go. And the one I picked up about 2 weeks ago had that gap. And that's the reason I bought it, because I know going in, I'm making money, right? So we would show you how to do that as well. When you use us, you don't pay us anything. The developers do give us a fee, but I work for you. When I take you to a pre-sale project, I don't work for the developer. My goal is to analyze these projects properly so you are gaining a good property right from start based on the analysis I do when personally I buy and then I help clients buy, right? Amenities are really important. So when you have things like pool, steam room, sauna, hot tub, and I have a unit where it has all of this, but then strata fees are quite high, right? It feels like a hotel. And I've lived there for a few years. It's a penthouse unit in Central City where we have all this amenities, and it's a great thing to have. And but be prepared to pay higher strata fees, right? Does it have like a party room and amenity room where you can hold functions, right? These are some of the things that also tenants like too. So you want to think in terms of investment in mind too, and resale in mind too. Indoor, outdoor theater, does it have? Does it have an outdoor area like a garden area or vegetable farming or like a rooftop patio where you can go in, or a dog park or kids play area, right? Some of them have now some of the developments are building, for example, a daycare downstairs, right? There's a couple of projects we know of, Walker House and Belvedere, that will have daycare downstairs, which is perfect. Working stations where you can work from home, you can just go downstairs and work from there, right? Fire pits and seating area, guest room, right? There's a project called Belvedere that has like 2-3 guest rooms. So if you have people coming over, you can just rent that for like 25-50 bucks a night. And it'll be like a big master bedroom. Won't have a kitchen. People can sleep there, get ready, and just come up, right? So perfect for families who have parents coming in and they don't want to spend too much on larger bedrooms. The daycare we talked about, shared workspace station we talked about. Concierge is another big thing. Especially in Central City, you want concierge. Our building has this, and it's perfect because it keeps the riffraff away, right? And it feels safer as well. And also, like any Amazon products coming in, delivery coming in, or you want to order food in, people can just deliver it there. Storage, lockers, and visitor parking. This is really important too. Some of the buildings don't have storage lockers, so where do you store things? Does your unit come with enough storage? Because if it doesn't, then that's not good. Visitor parking and personal parking too. There's some buildings that didn't build enough parking spaces. So lots of studios, one bedroom and dens did not get parking. And the resale value of those will be quite lower because it will be known as that building, right? You want to read the contract really carefully, guys. A lot of people, I know a project where in Maple Ridge, when I sat with the marketing team, the gentleman there told me is that 80% of people who bought in the development with realtors did not read the contract carefully and miss these clauses, right? And when you miss this clause, this clause says that the developer has the right to adjust price at completion if their cost goes up, right, by a certain point, certain percentage. And if this clause is in the contract, you're not protected for the price, right? So you want them to cross out this clause. There are certain clauses you can cross out, certain you cannot. This one you could, and not many people caught on to this, right? So once you cross this out, then you're protected, but otherwise you're not. So it's really important that you look to your contract, okay? And understand the terms. And like I said, cross out the contracts. Check what kind of subjects does the developer have. Some developers are putting in their contract, they have the right to cancel the contract by January of 2025, right? And if you're putting money in now, and if they don't get their financing or they're stuck, they can just refund your money without any cost to them, right? And the contract specifies that you cannot go after them. But if you fail to complete on the contract, they can come after you, which is crazy. So you want to read through the contract really carefully. Disclosure statement is something, it's called developer's disclosure statement. And you'll see that the sales team will ask you to initial everywhere and sign that you received the developer's disclosure statement, that you have done your due diligence and read through it to understand it. And the disclosure statement basically gives you information about that building, about the product mix, about the builder, who they are, what's their name, what they have built, what are they planning in this project. A lot of details that you can look through, and what the strata bylaws are, and what the contract looks like. So you can review this. They want you to review this and they give you this when you write the contract, though, right? They won't give you this just to review. And because this is a legal document, whenever they make changes, they have to inform you in writing, which means they're amending the original disclosure statement. So they send you this by email and they want your acknowledgement that you did receive this. Okay. Now I want to pass on the floor to my friend and a very reputable mobile mortgage specialist at RBC, who's been doing this for ages. And she will talk to you about mortgages and different things that that you need to know. All right. So I'll pass on the floor to Raman, and please come on in. We'll change spots.
Thank you. Thanks, Ravi. Okay. So I guess.
Yeah, so sorry. Just one question, Raman. I hear a lot of mortgage realtors telling their clients, and a lot of people have this thing in their head that, oh, I don't need a mortgage, so I can just buy a pre-sale right now and get a mortgage when completion comes. And like, I'm totally against that, and I know you are too. So can you talk a bit about that, please? All right.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for asking that question, and thank you for the time here to come in front of everyone. So I know that Kabir, you also asked a question, mortgage now or mortgage later. So I think this will sort of answer that question as well too. So I highly recommend that your mortgage should be in place within the 7-day recession that the developer will provide you. And the reason you want to do that is because it's going to sort of protect you from a few things. Number one is going to be the value of the property at the time of purchase. So when you put your mortgage in place within the 7 business days that the developer will provide you, we will appraise your property at that time. Now, a lot of people must be wondering that, Raman, the project hasn't really started. We haven't really even dug the floor, but at RBC, we can go ahead and we can appraise that property based on the floor plans and the purchase price. So it protects you from any reductions in your value of your property as the market goes up and down, like we have seen now from 1 year ago. So it is really important that you do get your mortgage financing upfront. So I guess maybe I can just go over some of these the types here. So can you qualify for a mortgage now? Absolutely, you can qualify for a mortgage now. So at RBC, the program that we have when it comes to pre-sales is it's a really great program. It actually allows you to have your mortgage in place within the 7 business days that the developer has provided you to make that firm decision. Now, with that, we provide you a firm approval. So a firm approval means if in case your project is set to close in 3 years' time, 2 years' time, 4 years' time, once you're firm approved with myself at RBC, that stands firm. Even with a loss of a job, even with you buying another vehicle or using your Visa card, once you're firm approved with RBC, you are firm approved and nothing shakes that. We also provide you a rate hold. RBC rate holds on their pre-sales for up to 4 years. So what a rate hold is, it's a little bit different than your retail rates. Rate hold is a little bit higher than the current going rates of the market today. However, though, the rate hold does come with the guarantee of a low interest rate. So what that means is, if I do a rate hold for you today and your project is set to close in 3 years' time, At 120 days prior to the project completing, we will take a look at RBC rates, outside rates. If the rates are lower than what I'm holding, you are guaranteed the low interest rate. If the rates are higher, you are capped. So that means your rate cannot go any higher than what it was when I approved you for your mortgage. And why this is so important, because it's going to allow you to know exactly what your rate is, what your mortgage payment is. So 3 years down the road, when you take your key, your financial situation will only get better, because if the rates are low, you're guaranteed the low rate. So your payments will drop, the rate will drop. If the rates have gone the other way, like we have seen now in the past little bit, you're capped. So your rate isn't going to change. You're going to know exactly what the mortgage payment's going to look like and what that rate will be for you. So that is why getting your mortgage, having the form approver, and having your rate code in place within the 7 days is very important. We also do not repeat a credit check, which is really important, because you might have a project that's set to close in 3 years' time. So you buy it today and then tomorrow your car breaks down. Now you're like, oh my goodness, I have to buy a new car. What does that do to my mortgage that's in place for the property that I'm supposed to close? Once your form approved at RBC, that's it. We do not do another credit check. So you can continue to live your life, do whatever needs to be done, and you don't need to worry about the approval being not available because you've now take more debt. As well, there is absolutely no fee to you. So there's no application fee and there's no appraisal fee to put this in place for you. It's an absolutely free transaction, which we will provide to you at RBC. We also provide you protection, which is really, really important. That's life and disability for the duration of the construction. So what that means is when I complete your financing in that 7 days, we will talk about life and disability, and you don't pay any premiums for this protection while your project is getting built. 1% negative. If something happens at the time of you taking the key for your property, loss of job, you go on disability, one partner, hopefully this never happens, but passes away, that protection will kick in for you, and you've never paid any premiums while you were waiting for the property to complete. Now, once you take your key, RBC allows you the first 30 days as a free look period. So in the first 30 days, you can choose to continue with your protection, or you can say, Raman, I don't want it. We can cancel and you never paid a premium. But if you decide to continue, then the premiums will kick in at your first mortgage payment. So that protection is also provided for you. And this is a program that RBC offers. And I guess now I will open up to any questions that you guys may have.
I think Kabir and Isha have a question.
Okay.
Ish.
Yeah, I have a question. Question is basically like if we are talking about the pre-sale, and I think the pre-sale can be booked in a 5% or 10% down payment. So whatever RBC is providing under this program is basically to fund at 5-10%, or they are telling me about to take a mortgage for the project which is going to deliver to me after 3 years.
Sorry, so you're asking about down payment, correct? Like, does that?
No, I'm asking like the product, what you're saying about the mortgage, right? The mortgage is basically taking a pre-approval for a mortgage and all. Okay. My question to that is basically if somebody is selling a pre-sale, okay, and if I'm booking in a pre-sale, I have to just make a payment of 5%, right? Currently, a lot of developers are offering me for a 5% down payment. They are offering a pre-sale around. Okay. So why I need a mortgage right now? I may apply for a mortgage once the interest rates are down, probably 2 years down the line when my project is ready to deliver.
Okay, so that's a great question. And the reason you want to get your mortgage now, not 2 years down the road, prime example will be what's happening with our interest rates today. So about 6 months back, we were qualifying clients at a 5.25% for mortgages. Now that same qualifying rate is at 8.56. So making it very difficult for someone to get that financing in place. Going back to your question about the rate, like why now, if the rates drop in the next 2 years, now I've disserviced myself by locking in a rate with you, which might be higher than the retail rate. So RBC does provide you guaranteed low interest rate. So if I, let's say, for example, do the financing and I provide you with a 6% interest rate example, and 2 years when your project is ready, all of a sudden the market has dropped and the rates are at 3.2%. You are guaranteed the 3.2%. If the rates in 2 years have gone up to 8%, you're capped at 6%. So you take any sort of volatility off that interest rate going up for yourself. That's an actually added protection for you. And it's a win-win to why your financing should be in place at the time of the purchase.
No, that's okay. But if you take my specific case and all, I'm new weekend over here. I'm only 4 months old in Canada. And I have done the 2 pre-sale booking itself in a 5%. Okay. But I right now don't have a job. I'm searching for a job. Probably I will do my business and all. Nobody will qualify me for the mortgage and all. And I bought this property with a thought, probably if I'm not interested in this property, and if I want to go back to India, probably I will sell it on a higher rate. So I will earn whatever I have to earn. So why should I be bothered about the mortgage and all? This is what my question is. Basically.
For sure, absolutely. So the reason why you should be is, now we may not get you firm approved, but by starting an application with me, we're going to do a rate hold at today. So the rate hold is at application start date guaranteed. Number 2, I will appraise the property and lock in the value of your property at the time of purchase to what it is worth in the market. So going back to your question, I'm not working, I don't have a job. Absolutely, you're correct. You will not get qualified for a mortgage. But if I open up an application, now your value is locked in, your rate is being held because there's a date that we do. And then 4 months down the road or 6 months down the road, when you have a job, you say, Raman, I'm now working and here's what I make. At that point, we will go ahead and push it through to the adjudication to get that mortgage approved for you. So you take 2 risks out of the picture, which is value and rate hold.
No, I coming with a different idea. Like what I used to do in India, same way I did in Canada also, without consulting to anyone. Let me tell you what I have done. In India, I used to buy a property in a pre-sale, right? Over there, it was basically a launch price, basically. And I used to buy in a launch price, and I used to sell it after 1 year or 2 years by making some money on that. And with the same thought, if I have done in Canada also, why I need a mortgage? My question is that probably down the line, 2 years down the line, right now market is down. You know, every builder is giving a discounts and all. And the kind of pricing they have given me 3 months back, if I compare with that pricing, the price on which I bought a flat is, I think, 10-15% cheaper than that. But obviously, it's now if you go and buy in a market, it will be on the same price. So same way, if I wait for another 2 years and if I'll sell out the property, why I need a mortgage? My question is that making the money on a pre-sale is better as compared to going for a mortgage and waiting for a delivery of this thing. I understand if you're buying it for your self-consumption, if you want to move over there for your own purpose, then it is fine that you are going for a mortgage and all. But the kind of Excel, I think the past Excel which I've seen, the growth which I'm seeing because of inflation and all, I can earn with inflation after 2 years by selling the property. That's my solution.
Sure, absolutely. So like Ravi mentioned in the beginning, we do recommend that the financing is in place, but in your case, your goal is to purchase and to sell. So yes, you're correct. You may not need a mortgage and that's okay. But if you don't, like, for example, you buy the property now in hopes to sell it in 2 years, but 1% negative, all of a sudden the market has gone down and you're like, oh, I'm not going to sell now, I'm going to hold on. Either you're going to have to pay cash at that time, or you're going to be seeking that financing at that time. So by having the financing, you don't have to fund with the bank if you have a mortgage finance. Like if I do your financing, it doesn't mean you have to fund with me, right? In 2 years' time, you can say, Raman, I don't need a mortgage. I sold the property, or Raman, I'm going to pay cash. Or if it goes the other way around, where all of a sudden the market is down and you're saying, I'm going to have to hold this for another year before I sell it, and I need a mortgage, now you got your mortgage in place. So you don't have to, but the advice piece is it doesn't hurt if you do. It's a positive for you.
And also just to add to this, what happens is if your situation changes, you change jobs or have a kid or you want to buy that car, because you have a firm approval, you're not affected by this, right? And if you needed to complete, at least you have this secured now. You don't have to worry about this too much. Right now, people are worried about how will I complete? Will my appraisal come through? And now they're struggling. But if they had done this 1 year ago, they would have been fine. I have clients who are completing now at 2.9% interest, 5-year fix, because they did that like last year, right?
Absolutely.
So there's pros and cons. In your case, sure, yeah, you don't need a mortgage, but should you be prepared? 100%. And if you don't qualify now, we can make a list of things that you should be doing to qualify, right? So we can take this one-on-one and kind of go over it with you one-on-one at a later time. Maybe let's schedule a call with
Sure.
Ish, right?
Another question related to this only, and the reason why I joined the call when I got your invite, basically, is there any restriction in Canada that the person cannot go for these many pre-sale properties? If I have a money for a 5% or 10% down payment, can I go for a multiple properties to book it and sell it after 2 years?
You can.
Yeah, this is what
Do we
my question was,
advise-
and that's the reason to join the call.
Do we advise that? Maybe not, because what if we come in a down market and you cannot sell, then what? Like I would love to sell you 6-7 properties. The only concern is like we would advise you, and then it's up to your risk tolerance on what you want to do, right? So you just want to make sure you don't lose money either, right? So
Okay.
Yeah. We have a couple of questions about, a really good question about how do you check developers' reputation? Google reviews is one of them, right? If you type in any developer's name or a company, you will see what kind of reviews they have. If they have reviews, oh, I'm a tenant, I'm a tenant, and I am having issues with my landlord, that's not a good review. But
Yeah, Ravi, I think that was the question which I have posted.
yes,
However,
yes.
I also understand that Google reviews is not the most authentic way to recognize something. So
Yeah.
I will not go by the Google reviews that can be manipulated very easily. It's an easy job.
Yes. And also, like, I look for Google reviews where the person is saying, look, I had leaks in my condo and the developer didn't do anything. The developer is not doing anything in terms of repairing or not getting back to me. If I see multiple of those by owners, that's not a good builder. The other way you want to check is Home Builders Association of Canada. Do they have any, British Columbia, do they have any complaints on this developer? Also, the warranty company is another source. You want to go to them and say, look, I'm planning to buy a Boza property. Can you tell me a bit about their business practice in terms of servicing clients when it comes to warranty issues? Lots of people complain to you guys, and all together when combined, you'll find that, okay, like Google reviews is saying this, the Home Builders Association is saying this, the warranty company is saying this, which sums up to it's a good builder or not, right? The other question, price protection, like the main thing you want to be, you want to make sure is if the contract has that price escalation clause or adjustment clause, then you want that crossed out. So you want to be very careful of making sure that that clause is not there. All right. Parameters, any database. So yeah, in terms of, I think we've answered that question about developers age. So, and the other thing I want to add is for mortgages, like it's really good to get like things started. Like doesn't mean you need to get approved now. Some people, what they're doing is they know they can't get approved now and their situation is changing in the next 4 months, 6 months, 1 year, but they're buying these pre-sales because they're at a great price and they're locking it in, and they may start the process, but not get an approval done now because Raman would say, okay, in order to get approved, can you pay off your car loan, your student loan, and be prepared with A, B, and C? And then let's start the application process. So you want to get that started. If you're planning a family, if you're planning that, hey, I may change jobs, which I have clients changing jobs, at least you're secured with a mortgage where they won't ask you questions. Oh, can I get a letter that shows that you have passed your probation period, for example, and all of that. Like if you are planning family and one person's not working now, you're already approved, right? And that doesn't matter anymore. But later on, it does matter, right? The other thing you want to be careful about is there's lots of newcomers here who are on work permits. So I'm actually in the process of finding out through a lawyer. I'm hiring a lawyer to get legal advice for my own business in terms of finding out that will a person who is, let's say, buying a presale with a work permit, will they be classified as foreign buyer, and will they be allowed to buy presales, right? Because this thing's changing and there's lots of unanswered questions right now. So we'll have some answers for those, and being you've signed up for this, we'll give you those answers. So just be careful, don't get in trouble. Always call us and consult. We're always here to help you guys. And
Just
use
to
our
add in, Ravi, I am not a legal advisor and all, but when I went to buy my property in a pre-sale, they first
Yes.
asked me whether I'm on a work permit or on PR basis. I'm on a
Yes.
PR, so they were able to sell it to me. But they told me specifically for work permit, there will be an international fees which will be charged over and over. Just for your knowledge, I don't know legally how much it is right now. I'm not a legal person, but this is what is communicated to me by a builder over here.
Yeah. So there's going to be different things coming up even more because the laws are changing, right? The other thing is also the assignment and the way CRA is going to tax you has changed as well. Now, if you sell your assignment within that period, you are classified as like it won't be looked at upon as it will be looked upon as a business income. So you'll be taxed on the full amount, right? So be prepared for these kind of changes. Yeah. So we'll switch sides.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So moving forward, okay. Assignments. There we go. So assignment is where you have signed a contract with. Oh, we have some more questions before we start assignments. Satish, I think.
I posted my question, Ravi. Thank you for doing this. I know you're very knowledgeable and informative. Thank you once again for doing this. I posted my question for Raman on the chat. If you can able to answer, that would be great.
Sorry. So your question is, what closing conditions will be for a mortgage on the day of purchase? What if the property value drops by 50%? Still, can I get approved with the original financing amount? So Raman, go for it.
And Satish, that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. So when I do your mortgage for you, it's firm approved. So that means your value was locked in at the time of your approval and nothing shakes that value. So when you're going to go take the key, let's say all of a sudden the condos are selling cheaper now and the market has dropped, because your financing is in place, your appraisal has been completed, your value will stay. So nothing will shake that. And that's another risk you're taking out of the picture, is by saying, what if the value drops? So I hope that answers your question for you.
Yes. What about the conditions? Is there going to be any conditions?
So no, because when we give you a firm approval, it's a firm approval. Now, for example, if there was any conditions such as, like, let's say if you said to me, Raman, I'm going to do 5% upfront, but by the time of closing, I might have 20%. I'll get you qualified at the 5%. And if at closing you want to do 20%, you have that option, but there will be no condition. Firm approval just means it's approved and it's firm.
Yeah. At the time of closing, if I decided to close everything with my own cash, there would be no other fee, right?
There is no fees. Yeah,
Okay.
Absolutely no fee.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And I think the other question was here, what is the best place to invest in real estate in 2023? So we are looking at a whole bunch of projects right now, and we're studying them and what kind of features they have. So we'll talk about that one-on-one with you when we meet you based on your needs, because everyone's needs are different, and we'll answer that. Now, Sylvia, you have a question. Please unmute.
I do. I think
Yeah.
I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, this is this is a question for Raman.
Yes.
And I have some pre-sales in Kelowna and Calgary that I'm interested in. Can I come see you for those?
Absolutely, you can. So anywhere there's an RBC, I can do mortgages. And I do have actually a couple of projects in Kelowna. So once you call me, we can see if it's one of them. But for
Okay.
sure, absolutely, I would love to have you give me a call and we can do the financing for you.
And even
Thank you so much.
And even if Raman's name or RBC is not on that list, they might be in the list with the builder, but not for that specific project. So it does make sense to call her and ask her if that builder is in their list. Right?
Yeah, even if the builder isn't, we will still give you all the benefits that I just talked about will apply to you as well. So I can offer that on any pre-sale and anywhere.
Yeah. And if you want to, yeah.
Hey, Ravi, sorry. One more last question I have.
Yes, sir.
Raman, do you consider rental income properties? Like, let's say if I'm buying this as an investor, and do you guys do rental analysis and use that cash flow towards qualifying me if I don't have sufficient income?
Absolutely, we do. So we will do a market rent. And we normally can use up to 80%, but in cases we can push it all the way up to 100%. So yes, we will.
So even on pre-sales you're doing, that's good. Okay.
Absolutely, we will, yeah.
Yeah. And when a mortgage rep does your application, they have to basically present an argument to an underwriter that, look, this person should be given the money to buy this piece of real estate, and she does a fabulous job in doing that. So I can vouch for that. Now, okay, so in terms of assignment, what does an assignment mean? You've bought a pre-sale after a year or two. You can, with developer's approval, can assign it to the next person. So you're selling your contract and the rights to your contract to the next person. And you must always find out what the rules are, right? Should I buy this as my end goal that, hey, I want to assign? We don't recommend that you do this. This is a perk, right? Like I'm closing on a property right now that I bought at 300,000. It's worth like 525 right now, even in this market. And yes, I could have assigned it, but I'm thinking long term. I'm thinking, hey, I want someone to pay down my mortgage while this property increases in price, so I can retire properly in the next 10 years and sell some of these, and maybe one I can fund my kids' education with that money, right? And then the other ones I can retire with it. Permission is required. You cannot just sell your assignment. You must make sure what the rules are from the developer side when it comes to assignment. Are there fees? Some developers charge 5%, some charge 3%. I've seen some developers say, we want 50% of your profit, right? So you want to make sure what they're asking, terminology you should know. Yes. So there's certain terminologies we use when it comes to assignment. When you hear that, hey, my client's lift will be 20 grand, which means profit, okay? Lift equals profit. Assigner is you, the person who has that original contract. The assignee is the buyer, okay? And assignment contract, which is totally different than the normal contract. So somebody has to be very knowledgeable on how to fill these out. Like I just gained my client, one of the buyers who bought an assignment from the original buyer, where I saved them a whole bunch of money on GST based on a clause that I use when I work for assignee. When I work for the assigner, I use a different clause, right? So I make sure that the other way, the other person pays money. And then if you are the assignee, I make sure that the assigner pays. Some of the major details you want to know is completion date, also the extended date that the developer has until they can extend it to. You want to know deposit structure. Some developers will say you pay 10,000 now at the time of writing, 5% to top it up. In 7 days, another 5% you have to pay in another, let's say, another 6 months, and then another 5% in another 9 months. So you want to find out what that is. Okay. And right now we're finding some of the developers who are just charging like 5-10%. So, and even with 5-10%, not every 5-10% deals are a deal, because you might be paying way too much in terms of price per square foot. So you need to understand, are you getting that perk of 5%, but you're paying an inflated price, and you don't want to do that. Decorating allowance. There has been times where, especially at this time, like being in business for so long, I know exactly how things operate in this market and what can I ask for my buyers, because I don't work for the developer, I work for you. And I have managed to get larger decorating allowance by bringing developers quantity, right? The last deal we did, we got them 32 buyers, and instead of 40,000, the developer gave us 65,000 decorating allowance, right? And threw in a whole bunch of perks like millwork, air conditioning, and a whole bunch of other upgrades that they charge for. You want to know what the strata fees are. And some developers will advertise, oh, our strata fees are 17 cents per square foot. That is wrong. The standard price per square foot for strata fees should be around 50 to 60 cents per square foot. Because what happens is when completion happens, and I've had this happen to me a couple of times, where the property management company comes in and says, well, okay, now that we have from strata, the strata fees at that time based on the budget was this much, but now our budget is way higher. So the strata fees have increased from 17 cents per square foot to 59 cents per square foot. And that's has happened. You want to know, you want to make sure a deficiency walkthrough is conducted with the realtor, right? So when I walk through the place, like there's a whole bunch of things I check for. And you want to check for scratches on the floor, scratches on the cabinets. You want to see if there's hairline cracks on the granite or quartz countertop. You want to see if they have grouted and silicone the tub and the faucets properly. You want to look for the leaks. So there's a lot of things. I can go on with the list. And being in business for so long, and I've done this for so many buyers, I know exactly what to look for and ask for, right? What is the completion process? So this is really important as well. So completion, right now I'm completing on something where the developer told me today that I have to complete, that my completion date might be pushed on to next year. So I was hoping for that, but then they sent an email out today that I have to complete on Monday, right? So you want to find out all these things and how will the completion process work? So Ish, you have a question. Go ahead. Sir.
Yeah, I think I typed it also. I just wanted to check, is there any pre-sale or what you say on the land also? It's only on condos and townhouses, or there is a pre-sale on a land also, like new land is coming up and that is on a pre-sale over?
Yeah, there is. I bought something last year in Penticton, and I'm building on it now. And I bought it for $275 and I sat on it for like 6 months, right? And so yeah, there is pre-sales on houses, land, condos, townhomes, duplex, all of it, right? Yeah.
So what is the way to know about that? I have to contact my realtor, you, or like how I come to know about that? You know, this is not easy.
Well, Ish, I want to be your realtor, my friend.
Okay.
So you can contact me and use us for that services. But if your loyalty lies to your realtor and they can have access to this, maybe contact them. But I would love to earn your business.
Okay.
Hoping I
Another question parallel to this is, if like now I'm in DC, right? And if I want to invest in Alberta or Calgary, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So I am required to visit over there, or just checking a builder and going with my realtor if he's suggesting me, you invest over here, nothing will happen with the property, So I am required to visit over there physically, see the location, or what, like how it works over here for a pre-sale in terms of Calgary, Alberta?
I would highly suggest that take a flight from Abbotsford. It's like $59 return.
Yeah. Mhm.
And it takes 1 hour to get there, 1 hour back, and spend like 2 days there going around with a realtor. Because I did that when a developer approached us for our website called ipresalecondos.com. They wanted us to put their Calgary project on our website. So I told them, well, I need to come by and see Calgary and give me a tour of Calgary and what you're doing. So she did that. And it was mind-blowing to see what kind of things they're coming up with. And then I met a whole bunch of realtors, colleagues from Royal LePage, who I spent time with talking to them. And what I find is by just doing that, I learned so much, right? So I think of it as an investment of your time. And when you go there, now I can speak with knowledge that, hey, I know this area, I know that area. Don't invest in this area or this development, right?
Yeah, because with a Google research and all, whatever Google research I've done, Alberta is actually attracting me with lucrative pricing and all. But I was just thinking that it will make a sense to go over there and see the property or how it will work. That's why I asked you.
I would highly recommend that. And visit the city hall as well to find out what their plans are. I would buy right in the heart of Calgary, like towards downtown, some old properties, if you can get your hands on. And I think that's where the money will be in Calgary, because everything, if you look at how a city is built, it's built out, right? Vancouver was built out, and then Burnaby, and then New West, and then Coquitlam, and then Surrey, and then Langley, same thing. So the closer you are to the city, the better it is, right? If you can find something in the city, maybe a corner, a home in a corner, like right at the start of the street, that's where all the developments start, right? So if I were,
Ravi,
yes, ma'am.
I'm so sorry. I need to go in 5 minutes. I have somebody else I'm talking to about an investment, but I really want to talk to you, Ravi, for like 1 minute before half past.
Yes.
So I just want you to finish your thought and ask me to ask you a question.
Yeah, for sure. And we can talk after too. All right. We'll coordinate something for tomorrow. But what I'm saying is in Calgary, the flight is not that much. If you drive around and look around, you will learn so much. And yes, you can do so much research online, but to go there and stand on the dirt is a totally different ballgame, because you understand the caliber of development they're doing. And then you can decide on where to go and what to pick, right?
Got it. Thank you.
So yes, go ahead.
Wonderful. Okay, two things. One, I definitely want to use you because I found lots of pre-builds, out of town, but I'd like to find pre-builds in town because I'm in Chilliwack. So
Yes.
I'd like to buy more local.
Awesome.
And then also, can I use you for the one that I want in Kelowna and the one that I want in Calgary? Can I use you, or do I have to go with them?
100%. I have sold things in Kelowna, Water Street by the park. We're marketing a project on our website, which I'll talk about, in Calgary with a developer right now who I met. There's a couple of things I like about Calgary. If you're more like a cash flow investor, you want cash flow coming in every month, Calgary and Edmonton is awesome, right?
Yes.
But if you are looking into appreciation, like there's a couple of projects that I have looked at in Langley area, where the prices are reasonable, right? And
Okay.
and right away, as soon as I'm buying, I see gain, because like I said, the way they price pre-sales is not the way I will price resale. So I'm gaining about 60 to 80 grand right away when I'm buying. I know that.
Exactly. You know what's funny? I just bought an apartment in Chilliwack. Last year it was 400. I just bought it for 3.
Yes.
I took possession November 1st, and I walked in and I knew I just made $100,000 because next year is going to go right back up, or the year after.
It will. And the one I'm completing on the 19th, that property was on the 6th floor, 300,000, 1 bedroom, 1 bath. And they said we'll get high ceilings, but they did not tell us that we will get 18-foot ceilings.
Oh my God.
Isn't that amazing? I went in and I
Yes.
looked upstairs and I thought, how much would this cost me to build a loft above the kitchen now? And what
That's right.
what do I have to do, right? So now I'm thinking, how do I increase square footage in this? And one of the things I have to do is be on Strata Council and have my clients who have bought to be on Strata Council so we can bring these changes. Also,
That's right.
we're planning to do Airbnb in this complex because all of us are pro Airbnb. We want to be on the council, so we dictate what happens in that council. We want to
That's
tell
right.
the manager that, look, we all want Airbnb. What do we need to do? How do we set this
Oh
up?
my God. I love you. I'm
Thank
so
you.
excited to meet both of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I
Yeah.
I
thank
haven't
you.
met anyone in BC to help me. Everyone's been everywhere else. You're the first person in BC. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for signing up and thanks for your appreciation. I truly appreciate it. Thank you. And we'll talk soon. All right. I'll call you.
Hi, Ravi. This is Taranjeet.
Hi, Taranjeet.
I have to leave. Sorry. Can you
Please.
please share your contact details in the chat box? I'll pick
I
it from
will.
there.
I will.
Yours and Raman both. I will definitely looking forward to meet both of you.
After this call, after this webinar, you'll get an email from us saying, here's our contact. Please book a one-on-one consultation with us. And in that one-on-one consultation, we understand your situation, your family situation, your income. And then we recommend a plan. We make a real estate plan for you, right? And we're not just preaching. We're actually practicing this ourselves. We have multiple properties. We're doing this. We're saving on taxes. We're using tax strategies. And we talk about this at the end. All right. But I will call you. I have your name on file and I will call you for sure.
Yeah.
All right?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'll call each one of you to find out if we can sit down with you and do this free consultation with you. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Ravi. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thanks for coming in. All right. So now so being in business for 18 years, we decided to create this directory called ipresalecondos.com. And we want to market this as a one-stop real estate shop for all of you. And what you get with this is my 25 years of investment experience. I've seen Burnaby, Metrotown at $300 per square foot. I've seen Surrey at $100, $250 per square foot, right? And I've seen this grow to $1,500, $1,200 per square foot. I've seen the pattern on how things went from Vancouver into Burnaby and then New West and how Surrey grew and how things are going to grow because of this new SkyTrain coming into Langley, the Cloverdale Hospital coming. So I share a lot of personal experience with you. 18 years of being a licensed realtor. Please, I'll share a couple of Google reviews. You can see what people are saying. We have an in-house licensed property manager. We hired one person because I could not do it myself. When people see that the way we deal with tenants and screening and placing tenants, I think you'll be blown away at the system that we're giving you and providing you because we guide you through the whole thing. We're not here to just sell and leave. We're here for a partnership with you, right? All of us, even our accountants, lawyers. If you have any questions, we will find out for you if we don't know, and then we'll connect you with the right people who can set things up for you. We want to do a real estate retirement plan for you, like the 10-year plan for you based on your situation. So we'll talk about that more. And you get professional buyer representation at a development when you deal with us and my team, because we don't just sell you the contract and say, sign the paperwork and that's it. We will sit with you and go over the contract clause by clause, explaining you what each clause is, getting our own lawyer to review the developer's disclosure, which saves you, by the way, about $750, right? So we'll do that for you. And we have a iPresale condo rating system. So we will rate a project in between like 1 to 10 and tell you, okay, this project based on location, price, amenities, all these things that we talked about, rates 8 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10, right? And then you can understand where we're going with this. Here are some of our Google reviews. Please go on to Google and read some of these reviews. These are not bought, okay? We didn't buy them, but when we service these people, they have said these things about us. And this gentleman right here, he bought a pre-sale without even me being at the pre-sale project. And he ended up buying something at a way higher price at the peak of the market in January. And I got a call from the development saying, hey, your client bought, congrats. And when I found out what price he paid, I told him, listen, you need to back out. You paid too much. And I'm glad he backed out because he was paying $1.4 million for a 4-bedroom townhome, where now these things are worth like maybe $1 million now or 1,150,000. And after 8 months of showing him what's happening in the marketplace, educating him, not telling him to pay overprice. We have even in a seller's market, we have a ceiling that we recommend. And then after that, if anyone wants to pay more, by all means, they can pay that. But recently we found him a similar property for about 450,000 less than what he would have paid. And he thought that by getting that 5% down, it was a good deal, but it's not a good deal, right? So this is the kind of advice we give. This person right here, I actually negotiated something with a developer where this person had bought, and what I did is I negotiated something for the next few clients, but I said, well, how about this client who already bought? Can you give him another 10 grand off? And they ended up doing it, right? So if I can see that I can get you a better deal after I sell so many, I will include you in that sort of situation, and I'll try to get you that, right? Now, here's what I would recommend is please take us up on this. It's no cost to you. It's free of charge, right? At least we can sit down with you and create a plan for you and your family. Do a 10-year plan, because my goal for you is that you gain at least 3 to 5 properties by applying these strategies that we're talking about and not paying way too much for properties, right? It's catered to your needs. We show you stats, we show you the buying process. Raman here talks about the mortgages. I go over an in-depth questionnaire to understand your needs better. I have about 35 questions that I have to ask you before we proceed. And this will be brilliant because the good thing is that you won't have to go sit with an accountant and a lawyer and a mortgage rep and different places, because right now we have a team, like I have already done this. So I can answer lots of these questions where you will save fees of a lawyer of $750, an accountant to consult $500, right? So I'm giving you something that is worth $2 grand for free, right? It's not costing you anything. So take me up on this, book up the time. You can click here, scan this, and book our time. And we would love to sit with you and go over things with you, right? So this is the success strategy meeting. And here we are. We're at the end. I apologize. We went way over. You guys have amazing questions, by the way. And I'm glad we were able to answer these. And if we didn't answer any of these, please let us know right now so we can answer them. All right. So we are here for Q&A for at least 5-10 minutes or whatever time it takes. So please fire away questions. Take our contact info down. You'll get an email from us. And if you have any questions, please fire away.
Ravi, a generic question. Yeah. Right now, we see a lot of Facebook ads for Edmonton and Calgary cash flow properties. Is there any property have you identified which you have readily pre-sale available in Surrey, Langley, any of the Fraser Valley market? Do you have any property?
In terms of So so just so I understand this correctly, you're
Meaning cash flow positive property. That's what I'm looking for.
in Lower
In
Main,
Fraser, yeah, in Fraser
Fraser
Valley.
Valley. So there is, as you know, that just recently rental restrictions and age restrictions came off. I'm just selling a couple of properties right now where it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,400 square foot, older building, but nicely renovated and looks super nice inside in Langley for $530. This will rent for about $2,800 a month, and it'll cash flow. What has happened just recently is the premier just changed, passed a bill where he said, well, all these buildings that have rental restrictions, they're coming off. Anything that has age restrictions is coming off, except anything that is 55 plus, that stays. So now what has happened in past, the way we evaluate these age restricted properties is because it's 19 plus, 45 plus, it limits the buyers. And when it limits the buyers, the price obviously comes down. And right now, my system, my realtor system is not changed to reflect that, so public can start seeing it in a way where, okay, this is not age restricted anymore, and this is not no rentals here anymore. Those things are coming, and when they come, you will see that these prices won't stay this low. And these properties should be at probably about $650, but they're at $530. And they will rent so much more because I know the rental market there. We've rented about 10, 15 units, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 920 square feet in Willoughby for $2,600 to $2,800 per month, right?
Ravi, how old are these properties?
They're old, man. They're
Like,
probably older
more
than
than me old or more than you old?
It's about 33 to 50 to 60 years old. They're old. But it doesn't mean that they're not good. We just have to read through the strata documents, depreciation report, AGM minutes, and we have to understand that, is this a good building or not, right? So going back to your question, can we find some properties? Can we find some properties that are
cash flowable? Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Oh.
Right, for a short period of time. Yes. So we can talk about this. Like, shoot me a text on WhatsApp at this number, and then me and you can go out and look at some of these properties, and I will help you rent it too.
Sure, Ravi. Thank you.
Awesome.
Oh, no, one more thing. The age restriction you were mentioning about, that comes out from the decision of Strata Council, right? How does the premier have an effect on this?
So he passed a law that says no more age restriction, no more rental restriction, except if a property is 55 plus, then that stays. Anything lower is off now.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah. So what else is your guys' questions? Lots of questions on mortgages I see. So I'll get Raman to call all of you to figure out what your questions are. And yeah, we have some properties that we're eyeing on. 2-bedroom, 2-baths for like 600,000, completes in 2025, 10% down, and assignment fees like $500, right? And you will be able to make money on this because I know of projects in that area that have sold for 700, 750, and this is lower. So I've personally bought one here. So if you want to know more about the projects, we'll be doing a tour as well of some of the pre-sale projects in Langley and Central City, and applying our systems to all these projects and showing you value on which project makes sense. And you'll see it right away. like it's black and white, right? So if there's no other questions, I want to thank you so much for tuning into this webinar. And we'll be doing these webinars more and more. We have one coming up soon about market stats, and you want to join that webinar as well. So watch out for our email. We'll be doing one for first-time home buyers. So watch for that. And we are getting some developers on. There's a new project coming up, Sequoia, that will be having the developer come in and talk to you guys about what they're doing. And it's going to be an awesome project. So if you guys don't have any questions, we want to say goodbye, good night, and thank you so much for tuning in and staying so late. And if you have any questions, even after this webinar, just send me a text message and we'll make time. All right. And do take us up on this, please. Do book a session with us. All right. And I think we have a couple more. No. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your kind comments. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good night. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.